Hey guys, okay, so this video is about one-step equations that involve multiplication to solve for the x. So I'm going to show you what that means. And I hope you watched the last video because the last video was all about one step with division. So let's say we're trying to solve for x. And we know that if x is divided by 5, we get the answer -40. Now it's very possible you're able to think of an answer in your head like, okay, what can I divide by 5? To get -40. But again, we're trying to show our work. We're trying to show our steps. So what I'm going to do for this problem is I'm going to put a line down the middle where the equal sign is. And I'm going to picture at the bottom the answer. At the very bottom, I'm expecting x to equal a number, an answer. So to figure this out, what I'm going to do is say, okay, well, let's get x by itself. Let's move this 5 over. So the 5 is not part of the problem on the left side, and I have x isolated all alone. Well, I can't just kind of move 5 over unless I do something to it. And currently, it's in a fraction, and we know in algebra that fractions actually mean divide. So this is x divided by 5. So I'm going to undo that division by using the opposite, which is multiplication. That's how I'm going to move it to the other side. But I have kind of a problem with using this x. If I use x as multiplication, that's confusing because x is also my variable. It's kind of a weird mixture. It's like in elementary school we use x for timesing, but the problem is now it's a variable. So I'm not going to use the x for multiplication. I think that's going to be cause some problems and be complicated. So instead I'm going to use the little dot, and we're going to times the 5 over to this side. And by doing so, what that does is it gets rid of the 5. It's gone. Now I just have to figure out what -40 times 5 is. Well, negative and a positive we know don't match up, so I know my answer is going to be negative. I know that 4 times 5 is 20. And because of this extra 0 in the 40, I'll add a 0, and my answer is -200. There it is. So when I see fractions, in my mind, my algebra mind says division. Every time I see a fraction, I think divide. And to undo the division process, I'm going to multiply to the other side. Let's try another one. So we're going to do another example. I'll scoot this down a little bit. Okay, next example. Let's do something just slightly different. Let's say this time we're solving for m. And we have m over 3. And it's equal to 7. M over 3 is equal to 7. So remember what we do. First step, we go to the equal sign, we put a line down the middle. At the bottom, we want the m. We want it to equal something. We want an answer. Really, all I have to do is get rid of the 3. If the 3 was gone, I would have m all isolated and by itself. So we know fractions mean to divide. So to move that 3 over, we're going to times it to the other side. That moves it to the other side. That gets rid of it. So m is by itself. And we have 7 times 3. Oh, okay. Well, I know what that is. 7 times 3 is 21. So my answer is 21. M is equal to 21. Okay, so there's a couple of examples. Now maybe it's time for you to try. So I'm going to give you a you try problem. And I'm going to really encourage you to pause the video after I write this down, because I want you to try it by yourself first. This is a way of testing yourself. Do you have this down? So here's your problem. I'm going to tell you that -6 equals x over -2. And I'd like you to pause the video, try to solve it, and see if you can get it correct. And when you're ready, unpause. Okay, so you've solved it, you've paused it, you're unpausing now to see if you did it correctly. I'm going to put my line down the middle. This one's slightly different than our other two examples because here's x, it's on the right-hand side. So I'm expecting at the bottom x to be on that side, equaling an answer. The number that needs to leave the x is the -2. So I'm going to take the -2 and move it over. Currently it's in a fraction. Fractions mean divide. So the opposite of division is to go over here and to multiply. I'm going to multiply the -2 to the other side. A really common mistake on this problem is to take the -2 and change it to a positive. But this is not an adding, subtracting situation. This is a multiplying, dividing situation. I'm not going to change the sign. I'm going to keep it a -2. So I'm going to cross this out. 2 times 6 I know is 12. And a negative times a negative, those match up. That's positive. So x is equal to a positive 12. And I've got my answer. Now, if you didn't get 12 as your answer, you should look at your paper and figure out what was your mistake. Was it the negative times the negative? Was it when you moved the 2 over and you times it, did you change it to a positive 2 accidentally? Look for that mistake and think about it because you don't want to repeat that mistake again. You want to try to avoid that error. And there will be more videos posted on this soon, so stay tuned. Thanks, guys.